up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans, and welcome to the latest matchday preview on the channel. Bromwich Albion versus Norwich Tuesday night in what is, in my opinion, a relegation battle. It is key. It's a relegation 6-pointer for us because obviously we beat them at Carrow Road, but it's going to be such a tough game and one that we really do need to pick up the 3 points in my opinion. Not just to go over draw, we need to be getting the 3 points and pulling ourselves away from relegation. Before we get into the main of it though, let's set the like target to 20 likes on this video. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on the game, your predictions, and of course don't forget to subscribe. We are getting closer to 1k. Hit that subscribe button that's just underneath this video. A little bell notification will appear, hit that one, and then you'll be notified every time I create a video on the channel. And yeah, as I say, it's a full-blown relegation battle. We're sitting in 19th for the table, Norwich are 22nd, and there's only 4 points separating us. If they beat us, that's 1 point. That is dangerous. This isn't one of these games where you can shrug it off and say there's still plenty of football left. Okay, there's still 20-odd games left of the season. But if they start picking up points and we're not, then we get further and further into it and further away from trying to get out of it. And it can really define the next couple, well, really for me, the next couple of months of the season. Win it, and you give yourself a bit of breathing space, momentum, lose it, and suddenly that pressure ramps up on you massively. Not just on the players, but again, on Eric Ramsay, the system and the direction we're heading in. And we don't want that on him. We don't want him to come in and be, straight into being under pressure from the fans. And that's why for me, it's all about, how we're going to play under Ramsay. Not just the result, but the performance, the approach, the adaptability. Because obviously he looked at the Borough game, he changed it and we started to play good. Now I'm hoping he's looked at that and gone, right, these players, Mikey Johnson doesn't work as a wing back. He's one of our crucial players going forward. So I'm going to double him up on the left with Ilin Jr. because that worked well for us when they went out on the left together. I'm not going to play Heggybo because I think he needs a rest and he can't do it all on his own. Let's try 2 up top. These are all things now. He's had a bit of time. Now, he's going to need to quickly understand the players he's working with and the predicament. And the big worry for me is we've not even come close to signing anybody yet. The transfer window slammed shut in about 12 days. What are we playing at? Why haven't we even been linked with anybody, let alone signed anybody? And that's the worrying thing because obviously it's clear that we need players, and he wants to do a system that he's happy with. But without the players he's wanting to sign or strengthening, it isn't going to work together. And we really need to be on the front foot on Tuesday. Understand the Borough game. Couple of days working, with the players. Let's set up defensively, circuit up a bit of pressure and counter. And yes, second half, when he made the changes, it worked. But we're at home now against Norwich. Let's not set up with a 5-back. Let's not sit off of them and let them have the ball and let them control the game. Because it's not going to work for us. We haven't got the quality to do it. Phillips, Mepham, Charlie Taylor, I'm sorry, but he can't play centre-back for us. If anything, drop Bielik back and play Price in that deeper role. And that worked. Start with Jed Wallace out on the right. He looked great when he come on. So for me, it's really about us being on the front foot, not being passive, not reactive, not sitting off and waiting for Norwich to make mistakes. I want us to go and impose ourselves on the game. Because if there's one thing Norwich don't like, it's being pressed aggressively and forced into decisions they don't want to make. They're a side that want rhythm, they want control, they want to feel comfortable on the ball. And at home on Tuesday night, we should be doing everything possible to make them uncomfortable from the first whistle. They're not going to bring a lot of fans, I don't think. It's a Tuesday night game. A long, long way to go from Norwich to Albion. I know we took quite a fair bit to Carrow Road, but I can't see him bringing a lot to the Hawthorns. Now, I'm not going to agree that Norwich have come into this on the back of a win. They beat Wrexham at the weekend, and that gives them a bit of confidence. Winning any game, regardless of the opposition, helps morale, especially when you're down near the bottom. But not to pretend that suddenly makes them a free-flowing, dominant side. It doesn't change the fact that they've struggled all season for consistency, for defensive solidarity, and controlling games when they're put under real pressure. And defensively, they're missing a big, big person in Shane Duffy. That is massive for them. That's that leadership gone, experience, organisation gone. He's the kind of defender who talks and marshals, who puts people in the right positions. Somebody that we're missing. And without him, Norwich can look disjointed at the back. Gaps appear between the centre-backs, full-backs get isolated, second balls aren't picked up. And that's exactly where we should be hurting them. And on top of that, there's uncertainty around Josh Sargent. He may not feature, and that's huge. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, Norwich's main goal threat. He's a player that can turn a half chance into a goal. And if he's not fully committed or not involved at all because of the situation around him trying to force a move away, that weakens them significantly. Suddenly their attacking options look different. Suddenly they're relying on players who haven't consistently delivered in big pressure moments this season. And this is where I come back to West Brom and Eric Ramsay, because this game is screaming out for bravery. It's screaming out for intensity. I want us to press higher. I want us to move the ball quicker. I want to see the midfield runners breaking forward. You know, put them under pressure. Let's flood their box. Let's make it really, really nervous for them. Too often this season, we've been neat without being dangerous, tidy without being threatening. Tuesday night has to be different. And we did see it with Ramsey. We were quicker in transition. We were quicker getting the ball forward. We weren't all the time passing it side to side. When we needed to slow it down, we did. But then when we were quick, we were quick. And that's where I want us to see, not just speculative shots from distance, but real chances, cutbacks, balls across the 6-yard box. Norwich centre-backs turning towards their own goal. Their keeper being forced into decisions. Because if we score first in this game, I genuinely believe it opens it up massively for us. Norwich are not a side who respond well to going beyond, especially away from home in the hostile atmosphere. And I really, really hope that our players aren't receiving the ball with the back to goal. We should be receiving the ball forward and going at them. How many times do we see a player receiving the ball at the moment at the Hawthorns with his back to the goal? He's not even on the half turn. They receive the ball and then they've got to turn, and it's too late. There's pressure on it. Let's make a difference. And let's talk about the atmosphere, because the Hawthorns has a huge role to play here. Tuesday night, crowds can be funny, but this one absolutely should be nailed on, that we get the fans behind it. We know what's at stake here. The players know what's at stake. This is one of these games where you need to get first crunching tackle, that first big press, that bit of urgency to get everyone lifted. If we start slowly, if we allow Norwich to settle, then we're doing them a massive favour. From Ramsey, I want to see that in-game adaptability. If something's not working after 25 minutes, don't wait till half-time. Change it up, switch the shape, push a full back higher, add an extra body in midfield if we need to. This is where managers earn their keep, not by just picking a team, but reading the game as it unfolds. And we saw it against Borough. We were 2-0 down, really, really under the cosh. And he switched it, and we got it back to 2-2. I know eventually we lost 3-2, which is a shame. But he had read that situation in the game and switched it. So let's see him be a bit more adaptable in this game now. Now, I'm not underestimating this game, far from it. It's going to be tough, it's going to be scrappy, it's going to be tense. There will be moments where we have to dig in. Norwich will have spells of possession, they'll create moments. This is where we need composure, not panic, not silly fouls, not dropping deeper and deeper just because the pressure comes on for 5 minutes. If we can balance that aggression with control, we really can press in shape, keep that shape, and then genuinely, I think we've got enough quality to win the game comfortably. I don't say that lightly given how this season's gone. For me, this is a statement game, a chance to say we're not sleepwalking into a relegation fight, we're taking control of it. And that's why I'm going bold with my prediction. I think we'll concede, that's football, and Norwich will have a moment. But I also think we'll respond. I think we'll create, and I think we'll finish some chances. I'm going West Bromwich Albion 3, Norwich 1. A big night, a massive 3 points, and hopefully the start of a run where we can finally look up the table instead of nervously glancing over our shoulder. Let me know, are you confident, or are you somewhere in between? And most importantly, do you think Eric Ramsay shows us something new on Tuesday night? Hit that subscribe button, let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you for the match day vlog on Tuesday. Bye bye.